I call the Honourable David Cunliffe, 5 minutes.
Mr Speaker, Labor opposes this bill. It's bad in conception, it's bad in detail, sir, and it sets up what is already a very, very dodgy system in the tertiary sector to infect our secondary sector through its tertiary provisions. And that's where I want to focus on today, sir. The background to this is that the tertiary education's private training establishments have had a sorry litany of woe over the last year, and the Tertiary Education Commission is having to pedal very fast to catch up. The Labor opposition has blown the lid off scandals which have required paybacks and, in several cases, the closure of institutions in places like the Western Institute of Technology, Taipotini Polytechnic, Taratahi Agricultural Training College, Agribusiness Training Limited, the Intueri Group Quantum Education, and Tuananga Awanuiarangi. Mr Speaker, that's just some of them, and there are plenty of others under investigation. In fact, 19 others under investigation, according to the Minister. Against that background, which has been driven by the government's virtual starvation of tertiary education, with yet another real terms funding cut and the insistence that the sector goes private to get more foreign students and become more innovative in the marketplace, now they're handing that fox the door to the chicken coop in terms of charter schools. Another disaster area of the application of market ideology to what should be a state-provided service. Quality education for all our children based on ability and common standards, not money and the ability to pay. That's what's fundamentally wrong with us. Now, in the details, sir, it gets worse. Tertiary education institutions have a change of definition so that they became a sponsoring body of charter schools. That then enables several things to happen. The first is that they get an exemption from the Official Information Act in the same way that charter schools do. But hang on, this is public money which is being invested in these godforsaken market experiments. The second thing is they are exempted from the provisions of the State Sector Act, the Act which normally provides good governance and fiduciary constraints on state sector organisations. Thirdly, sir, they are exempt from the full provisions of the Ombudsman's Act. And taken together, sir, these three exemptions continue what is a very clear trend by the current government to shrink the purview and the resourcing of the independent watchdogs of the state and commercial business and to hand power to investors. In this case, blurring the line in a very unfortunate way between tertiary institutions and the failed charter school experiment. So our education spokesperson, Chris Hipkins, has asked the obvious question: why? What evidence is there to suggest that one jot of this is going to be good for our students and our children? And the answer is that's never been the point. This legislation is designed to suit the investors, the National Party's donors. That is the group who this education seeks to serve. The Minister laughs with apparent innocence. But when one sees time after time again the running down of the watchdogs of the state, the gradual ring barking of those institutions, and in this case the deliberate removal of the protections of the Official Information Act, the Ombudsman's Act and the State Sector Act from any sponsoring tertiary institution that gets into a sponsorship deal with a charter school, well, either it's naivety in the extreme or it is the deliberate application of market ideology to an area which should be for the benefit of all our children. Mr. Speaker, politics is a tipping game. We all know that. And this crazy neoliberal experiment's been trundling on and on and on. But you know what? It's very rapidly approaching a cliff. It's a cliff based on the housing crisis and the dislocation in the market that this government is very soon to fall off. And it won't be long before, if this bill does pass, sir, that we'll be back in the House repealing it and putting to rights what should be a fundamental obligation of the state to ensure the good education of every New Zealand child.
I call Sarah Dowie.
Oh,